So the way we approached it is like with this launch implementation deep dive we just did. This was part of our offer for Product Launch Formula. And Product Launch Formula is this full course that covers the full gamut. And the implementation deep dive is 4 calls. Our work is so vast. The breadth is so big that we're not going to take someone from A to Z in 4 calls in that implementation deep dive. That's what the course is for. The implementation deep dive, we portrayed it, and it is a sprint. It's like, we called it a 25-day sprint that takes them through the biggest needle movers in getting their launch done and getting our people's launch done. So very much in our offer, it was like, here's the course. This gives you everything. This gives you the full spectrum. And this 25-day sprint, the launch implementation deep dive, this is going to get you moving fast. This is going to take the roadblocks out of the way and get you the coaching you need on the most important needle movers so that you can get into action immediately. So, and then we get on, we've got 4 calls. So we promised, or we intended for them to be 90 minutes. In reality, they're ended up closer to 2 hours because we're just trying to pack in as much as possible. And we are just absolutely focused on getting them moving because, like Dan said, people want speed right now, and they want live experiences. That's what we've noticed in our launch, in actual selling of this. People are responding when we are live. In the teaching of this, people are responding when we're live. And that's what's happening in the moment right now. That's our experience. And that's our experience in coaching other people. It might change sometime in the future, but that's what's happening right now. And doing these live, it's felt like a real needle mover. We're giving people a great experience. They're incredibly stoked. They're making great progress.
Is there any part of this which is like, in some ways, the market research for you guys too, because you're also getting to interact with your direct avatar in terms of, well, what do they need? And maybe there's other deep dives that are on the horizon that this group might need.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's another huge benefit of it, for sure, is we're seeing where people are getting stuck. I think in general, that's always I think it's one of the trickiest things for a business like ours, at least, is getting people out of that information consuming mode and into the, actually taking action mode. And one thing we can do on these deep dives is we're giving people prompts and we're saying, all right, cool. Now take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes. Work on this. Then we're having people type in the chat like, okay, so your answer's in. And then we're helping people work through it. We're dissecting it with them live on the calls right now. And we're able to sort of push people a little bit, say like, yeah, it's time to get moving. It's time to get into action. If we think of our job as creating success stories, then, I think right now it's easy to get overwhelmed with too much information right now. And it's easy to get overwhelmed with what's the next right step. There's a lot of noise in the world. And I think that affects everybody, even the people who are looking to start something new. And it's really easy to sit there and spin your wheels for a while. If we can push people, that makes us better at our job of creating success stories.
We've been totally good copying, bad copying them. Chris, I don't know if you've observed this. When Dan and I, the dynamic that's evolving, it wasn't intentional, but it's evolving. Dan's like the bad cop. He's like the one that pushes people harder and takes no excuses. I'm like the nice guy.
I wouldn't say I'm the bad cop. I'm just the less interested in your excuses cop.
I'll tell you, when I was sales management, you had to be both those people at the same time for certain people. And I love that we have the embodiment of the two with the two of you. One of my old mentors used to always say to me, he would say, momentum is the most powerful force in life and business. Because if you can just get that ball, that snowball moving, and then it starts rolling down the hill, it's going to generate so much more snow, right? But that first initial momentum of getting the ball started is what stops so many people, isn't it? And you're telling me that like what you guys are doing in these implementations is getting people those, maybe it's 0 to 1 or 1 to 2, right? Or 0 to 2, whatever it is, to kind of get the ball rolling. And now it's able to move and they can start doing it more on their own. Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, 100%. And I think right now, if you're in a business where you teach people how to do something, teach people how to do anything, I think that's one of the most important things you can be doing, is making sure that people are getting into action, getting that initial momentum started. And yeah, I think that's exactly what we're trying to do on these deep dives.
Chris, there's another thing here is as the instructor, the teacher, the person who's delivering, and Dan and I are both very much in that role, but I personally find this process so energizing, so incredibly energizing, because before each call, we're sending out a survey. And then we have this, the survey software. I forget what we use. Dan, you probably remember. But then it all populates into a spreadsheet. So I can sit there and look through this Google Sheets. I literally go through every response. And we're delivering this to hundreds of people. It's not just to a handful of people. We're delivering to hundreds of people. And a lot of them are filling these out. And I'll go through every single one of those responses. And it's just so energizing because it puts me so in touch with what people are looking for, what they need, what's holding them back. And then when we get on the calls, and it's basically Dan and I are teaching, and we're teaching to what they put into those surveys, but they're typing into the chat. We're asking them stuff, like Dan said, we're asking them stuff. We're giving them homework. They're typing into the chat. And that interactive environment is so freaking energizing. It's so much fun. Here's a truth right here that I don't really see people talk about too much, but creating courses sort of sucks. I mean, I'm sure there's some people out there that really enjoy it, but Dan and I, not too long ago, we went into the studio and we shot the whole product launch formula, and it's grueling to sit there and do it without an audience. To just do it into a camera, it's not my favorite thing in this business to do, is to sit there in front of a camera and deliver a course. But put me on a live call where I'm getting real feedback. Those 2 hours just fly by.
Hey, Launch family, I hope you liked that clip from one of our episodes. If you haven't yet, please do hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming interview episodes or cool other episodes that we have coming out. We got some great ones on our schedule. Also, if you haven't yet, go to getyoulaunch.com. We actually have some absolutely free, amazing launch resources that you can get just by putting in your email. So thanks again for listening, and we're looking forward to the next episode.